I think it's time for UFC because really, Miguel, you brought just a you brought us just a morsel uh, a couple of weeks ago, really. Let me just say, guys, Sergei Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes. Odds first came out several weeks ago. They were virtually tied. They were both like a minus 110, something to that effect. Money came in on Blaydes, presumably because people know the name, don't know the Russian. And Pavlovich shot up to like a plus 145. I just dropped 50 on a plus 136 as we're taping this show here on Monday. So that's one. How did you come across that, and tell us what you know about this one, Miguel? Because I'm this is one I'm excited about. Get it while it's hot type of deal.
For sure. And anytime that the UFC busts out with heavyweights that are still charting up, because they tend to recycle heavyweights a lot. And Blaydes, we've seen Blaydes fight Ngannou. He's actually lost to Ngannou twice. That held him back a little bit. The last time we saw him, he was stopped by Derek Lewis, and but he's 7-1, including with that Derek Lewis fight in his last 8 fights. That's an impressive record and an impressive run, no matter what or how you look at it. He beat Junior Dos Santos, a former champion. Yeah, he's at the end of his career, but a savvy champion. Alexander Volkov, a tall Russian who's had some steam and is not an easy out. He took him to a 5-round unanimous decision. Blaydes, I can see why people are picking Blaydes. As far as Pavlovich, however, Pavlovich, if you tend to lean towards Pavlovich and you're able to get him as an underdog, it's going to make it even more intriguing. Pavlovich is 17-1. His only loss is to Alistair Overeem, who is an all-time great and one of those veterans that is going to be a tough out for anybody. And he took that loss a little bit, 5 fights ago. Since then, he's been a machine. He's ended every fight in the first round. None of them have gone more than 4 minutes since that loss back in 2018 to Alistair Overeem. One of those wins is a 55-second knockout of Derek Lewis. You remember Lewis is the guy who has the lone blemish on Blaydes' record in the last 8 fights. So, he beat the guy that beat the other guy and things. So, once you start looking at those details, Pavlovich may have some appeal to people. If you're on the Blaydes bandwagon, you're not going to go for, you want to get the best odds you can. But this one's fluctuating. You can see why, because Pavlovich pretty much has just one blemish on his record.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting one for me because I do think it is a toss up. And so when you can get a plus 150 or whatnot on something that is a 50-50 fight, well, mathematically, if you take that every time, you're coming out ahead, aren't you? Because when you do win, you're adding 50% extra. So, mathematically, you can take a loss every other time and you're still going to add 25% on average. So we love these type of bets. This is the type of math I love to find for folks and share on Wage Rage and on Piatt Picks. Let's go. Bobby Green, Jared Gordon. This is another Bobby Green minus 280 and a plus 210 for Jared Gordon. Another similar odds. 3 of those tonight. Miguel, what do you have on this one for us?
Jared Gordon is a guy that took a loss in his last fight. He lost to Paddy Pimblett, but the general consensus across, the internet was that the judges got that one wrong. And I think Gordon did a very good job of letting people know he felt wrong, but also not overstepping it and, just being, a guy who turns into a complainer. I think here he's back in a fight. He's an underdog against Bobby Green. Bobby Green has 14 losses in his career. So, if it goes to the judges, I would think Gordon's got a lot of motivation. And then there's also just that touch of if he was robbed last time, karma sometimes does exist. And I think Gordon's one of those guys that may be trending up in karma where Bobby, he's got 2 losses in a row. I don't know, it's going to be a mount for him to get into any title picture, although he's a very good fighter. But he's been around a little while, and Gordon, I think, may have more topside. So if Gordon could break through here, I think that it would be a positive for Gordon's career. And if he's not, he takes 2 losses in a row and he's in bad shape. Green would still be 1-2 in his last 3 fights, so he needs a win badly. So because of the odds, Gordon may be appealing to some people.
Absolutely. Hey, look, these are great ones. We'll have more detail later in the week, but it's that Pavlovich. If you feel like we do, if you feel like like Miguel brought it to me, and wow, that's gold. So I've already put in on that one. That's something that the listeners and viewers might want to consider. And then we'll dig into this other stuff a little bit deeper. Might do a little parlay with a couple of these guys, and if anything else pops up. Right now, my books are pretty shy on any extra fights. There's only 2 boxing fights right now on FanDuel. I'm sure something else will pop up. They usually do. That's why we can't bring you the Piatt picks until a little bit later in the week. So stick with us. We usually do those for you on Thursday for Saturday's slate. And so look for it Thursday or Friday. Also want to mention we've got the Bet US link. If you need a link in any state in Canada or the United States, that link is there for us. And also Sharps, we're working with them now, and it's brand new. It's free, completely free. PIAT 186 is the code, Piatt 186 with the 1T. And basically you can see what bets we're making, what our record is, percentages. You can sign up free. You can choose to share what you want to share and what you don't want to share. It's fascinating. It's pretty neat. They don't sell a thing. It's just a community where you can share with other guys that are betting and get more tips, see what's good, see who's good, and follow their advice and whatnot. So there we are. Check that out. That's Sharps app, PIAT 186. Miguel, we'll see you again in a couple of days. This
For
stuff is going to
sure.
be exciting
Yes.
week.
I'm
Wow,
definitely
can't wait.
excited to see your picks for sure. Looking forward to that. And I know that you got, your public is guys that are following you week to week and stuff. So for anybody new out there, if you got a gut feeling or something that you want to, this is the week of the fight. So those odds are going to move back and forth. You want to look at them, you want to check them, see if they're moving in your direction or away from your direction. You may want to jump on it. You don't want to wait till Thursday unless you got a sure thing, and then you want to confirm and see which way Anthony's going on that one for sure. So
That's
just be
right.
on the lookout, especially that UFC main event. The odds are moving as we speak.
And I want to mention as well, of course, please subscribe. Also check out the original podcast, Cage Rage Podcast. Shout out to Chad, Devin, some of the other guys that did the show there with us. You can see some of our old stuff there. We've got a highlights reel that we're going to post here on this channel soon of the old stuff. And we've got some neat history that Miguel and I have done. We talked about Ketchel. We talked about Jack Johnson. We've talked about some great stuff in the past. So we'll post some of that stuff as well. But you can find it already now on Cage Rage Podcast on YouTube. And we'll be transferring some of that over here. So, hey, we need to build this channel up. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Spread it to your friends, and we appreciate you. Look out for later in the week. It's Piatt Picks coming at you. Miguel, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, and we'll be back Thursday.